Welcome to my video on self-promotion. Oh, good. Rob's doing self-improvement videos now. How wonderful. This is part of a talk I did for the rather useful seminar series at the Hull University. Wonderful place to go. I did the talk and then I said I'd make a video afterwards to actually underpin it. This is one of the two videos I'm going to make about this. This is part one, the first, and it's about the noble art of self-promotion. So let's, without further ado, get on. Now, I like photography too, so let's start with a bit of photography. What could possibly go wrong? So here we are. This is a classic camera which you can pick up quite cheaply, particularly if you're in America. It's a Polaroid land camera, and it was used in the 1950s and early 60s by thrusting young American executives that wanted to have pictures of themselves and their families to literally wave around in other people's faces. It took really good pictures and then became completely useless in 1980, last century, when they stopped making the film for it. You can still buy them, and you can take the back off them now and make a 3D printed frame to take Fujifilm instant wide film in a carrier made by a firm called Lomography. And it all works, and you can get pictures which are really good, and the camera itself looks awesome. So I did all this, and then I wanted a bit more. So I built a light unit, which is these row of LEDs in the back, linked to a Raspberry Pi Pico with a display on the back and a little battery pack. And the idea is that you press this button here and one of these LEDs will light up for a tiny fraction of a second and fog the film and add extra sort of light effects to it. I thought this might be fun to actually produce image effects without actually using a computer. So actually I am using a computer, but it's not the one that manipulates the image. It just makes the lights that make it go. So I built this thing and got it going and took some pictures. And above you can see the first picture, which came out extremely red. I was concerned I might not get a red even tone, but that seems to be misplaced. I dialed the red down a bit and took some blue and some more red. I went to the Humber Bridge and I took some more pictures with some yellow on top and some blue on top. I was a bit concerned about the lights diffusing properly and giving a nice even spread, but that seems to have happened without me doing anything, which is rather nice. Sometimes problems solve themselves. So I have this thing which I can use to take pictures, and I can put color casts on them by pressing buttons on a little device on the back. Isn't that wonderful? Yes. But what on earth has it got to do with the noble art of self-promotion? Well, yeah, why make a camera? Well, I put it on my blog because that's one thing I do, robmiles.com. It's on every single slide, shameless. So it's, if you can't see it there, but if you scroll down a bit, you'll find my projects. Click on projects, you'll then find the Light Leak Polaroid camera, and then from then on, I don't know why I'm showing this, I can show you the actual blog, I will in a minute, and then you go onto the GitHub site, and finally, and this is rather sweet, and you can't do this quite as easily, there's an article in the Raspberry Pi official magazine all about this, along with the software and how to build one. So this stupid idea, I want to use an old American camera and then fog the film with a computer as well, has turned into an article, and that's all jolly good, and it's all helped to build the Rob Miles brand. And I think that if you're going to try and make it in this world, you should have some kind of a policy to do this, to take your ideas and the things that you're quite... Americans use the word passionate a lot. We in the UK don't use passionate quite so much, but it is important to take the things that you're enthusiastic, that's a good word, and run with to actually build your brand and do stuff with, because you have to self-promote. The sad fact is the world doesn't care that much about you. I'm sorry. Your mum thinks you're wonderful, because that's what mums do. Mums are great. Rest of the world, meh, whatever. There's always a chance that your greatness will be picked up by the rest of the world, perhaps, but don't hold your breath. A bit of self-promotion won't do any harm. Think of it as building a brand, because that's effectively what you're doing. And promote yourself as something which you are, not something that you aren't, because that will not end well. You can't fool all the people all of the time, except sometimes, it turns out. You could make a slightly amplified version of yourself, i.e. like you on a good day. This is the thing you're going to carry through your life if you do it correctly. And so, yes, if you should try to be measured and realistic about the kind of person you are, and then promote that. That's good. And keep moving forward. So yes, promotion will not, however, guaranteed to make you successful on its own. It improves the odds a lot. But the third bullet point here is a really important one. What you're doing is getting yourself into a good position to be lucky. Because you do need a bit of luck. I've seen students produce fantastic designs, beautiful developments, lovely presentations, take them to competitions, present them beautifully, and then not make it to the next round. And it's quite depressing, but the reason that it happened was basically they weren't lucky. No one quite got what they were talking about, or someone on the judging panel had I don't know, it's just one of those things. But they just picked themselves up, kept going, did something else, and then ended up with good jobs and great futures on the back of what they did. So if you've got that stuff lying around and you're lucky, then away you go. In this respect, yeah, and I've got some good news and some bad news. Let's start with the good news. There are thousands these days. There are thousands of different ways you can promote what you're doing. When I was a lad, if I wanted to show someone my program, I had to post them the punched cards. This is true. I never did that because people might think it was a bit odd. These days, you can take your own code, you can put it on the web, you can let anybody play with it, and you can see what happens. Take my blog, for example, please. There's my nice tag globe, which is grand. And if I go onto the... Oh, that didn't work. Let's try it again. If I go onto here, you can play with my code. This is my Cheese Finder game, which is part of my JavaScript book. And if I click on here, the screen will go a different color depending on how far I am from the cheese. I don't know which color is which distance, but I'm thinking that, the lighter green is going to be closer. So I'm now kind of honing in on my cheese. And when I hit a piece of cheese, I really should make it play a tune or do something, but I'm kind of trying to figure out where the cheese is now. And you might be thinking, oh, good, Robert's let us play with this code. And it's okay, here we go. It's red, oh, there it is. And then it's showing me all. That was basically 31 tries to find one piece of cheese. If you think you can be better, and you probably can, try again in an hour, because there'll be a new puzzle up there, and there's different numbers of cheeses and different colours, and I think it's kind of splendid, and I don't think anybody's actually going to hire me on the back of this, but you never know. The good news is, at the moment, there's loads of different ways you can present yourself now. People can see my code from anywhere in the world. You can tweet, you can post on Facebook, you can do all kinds of good stuff to get the word out about you. The bad news is that so can everybody else. This is kind of unfortunate. You need a way to make your content stand out from the rest, and how you do this depends on your specialism. My specialism is sheer persistence and giving things away. You can make a plan and to stand out, or you can just do a lot of stuff and see what happens. I like this approach. It kind of works for me. I've just done things and told people about them, and if they've gone, that's a bit daft, don't do that, Rob, I don't do it. On the other hand, some things I've done have ended up in the most unusual. It's stuff just goes out there and people pick it up and use it in different ways. Really interesting things can happen on the back of that, as long as you're doing stuff and pushing it out there. Most important tips, try and find there's two things you should do. Stuff you enjoy or stuff you want to get good at. If you like writing, then write. If you can't write, then start writing and you'll get better. If you want to do public speaking, then find somewhere to speak and speak. If you want to learn how to make videos, then make videos. I'm working on the video one at the moment. This is one of my new, slightly shorter videos about stuff that I think people should know. And I'm going to make a few more of these. And if I get lots of meh, then that's fine. It's cost me nothing but my time, and I've learned something. So let's keep moving forward. I give stuff away. I used to have very interesting conversations with students when back in the day. They go, I've made this thing, Rob, and it's amazing, and I don't want anybody else to steal it. And I go, right, what is it? And they show me, having made me sign up saying, I won't to release the details. And I go, well, you're quite safe from being copied there, because there's this thing and this thing and this thing, and all these things do what you're doing, and all of them are slightly better. And the students would go away going, mmm. But if they took that and put it out there and gave it away for free, it might not be as good as the ones that are out there already, but hey, it's free. So push stuff out that you've done, make it available, get constructive criticism, and join an open source project. They are great fun. If you can't code, that doesn't necessarily matter, because they're looking for testers, graphic designers, document writers, and translators, and all kinds of other folk. than the code people. So you can get a name for yourself. I mean, in a perfect world, you have a name which means that other folk will be hunting you down, not the other way around. So you won't be searching places to find a job. They'll come and look for you if they want someone to do what they know you're good at, because they've seen you do it on an open source project. So yeah, why would you not do that? Yeah, so do some open source stuff. It's great fun. But whatever you do, build it, put it out there, stick it in your blog. You've got stuff to write about now, and off you go. If you're not sure what to make, you're thinking of making some stuff, I have a second video which will follow this one, which will give you some ideas, show you what I've made, and hopefully that will spark some stuff that gets you moving forwards. Okie dokie. Competitions are great. Hull University has the 3-Thing gaming competition, which you should take part in even if you aren't a game developer. It's just awesome fun. Find ones in your area, get a gang of friends together to make a team, and then off you go and see how you get on. Things like the Microsoft Imagine Cup, you should do that. Get involved with that as well. If you can't find a competition that you'd like to take part in, and there are loads, then invent your own and do that. Or challenge yourself. I'm going to spend a month building a blah, and then blog it. And at the end of it, you know, you've either got a blah or you've not got a blah, but you'll have some really good blog posts and a lot of experience. And that's what people like. Just keep on inventing this stuff and moving forward. Public speaking, computer science students are supposed to be rubbish at things like public speaking. But the thing you have to remember about it is that it's a thing you can learn. It's like a new programming language or a new API or a new software system. You can learn to public speak, and the key is practice and doing it and finding out that after you've done it, you're not dead. You're still going. You can go down the pub and have a drink. It's just getting the confidence to get up there and stand up in front of people and tell things. And if you are a computer scientist and you can do public speaking and you can work with people and find out what they want and explain what you can do in a cogent way, then that's like putting a 10 on the end of your value. You got by a factor of at least 10 in terms of how useful you are. So you should treat learning how to speak in public in the same way. If you don't want to do it on your own, fair enough. Don't just stand up on the bus and go, by the way, no, form a club, form a speaking club, and just spend the evening just sort of taking it in turns to talk about stuff and giving constructive. Just do this stuff. Why would you not? Treat it as a technique that you don't know yet and then work at it. I've seen students do this, and I've seen them go from "I'm not going up there" to "try and get me down." It's great. They start. Some of them start to really like doing it, and then off they go, and they're unstoppable. So yeah, you should do that. And as I have already alluded, everyone should blog. Blogging is a really good thing to do, even if nobody reads it. You could, if you wanted to. You can blog on the server in your front room and never let it out of the building. That's fine. Just the process of doing it is a good thing to do, and I think everyone should blog. I mean, the fact that not everybody does gives you an edge, because if you're one of the ones that do and the other 99 folk don't, you're the one that gets the jobs and the opportunities and the links, because they haven't got that. So here we go. I blog because it makes you practice your writing. If someone asks me for 1,000 words on a subject, I can do that now because I blog. I've learned how to take stuff and whack it together. Blogging makes you discoverable. If you meet that dream employer in the lift one day, and you want to sort of convince and give them a one-stop shop of what you're like and convince them of your greatness, hand them a link to your blog, give them a QR code, whatever you like. It's like a one-stop shop. If you go onto my blog, you can see all my projects, you can see all the things I've done, you can follow my history back. The Germans have this word, I think we use it too, hinterland. It's the area of land behind a port that makes the port go. People should have hinterlands as well, so that you've got sort of interesting stuff that goes back, and it's all good. And if someone that's bothered will take a look, and the people that are bothered are the people that you want to have involved. And blogging also, this is like a side effect. I discovered this by mistake. It lets you remind yourself of how you did something. So I get stuck in a program. I do a search to find the solution, and I find my old blog post from 5 years ago that explains how to do it. And I've done that 3 or 4 times now, and it's always amusing and always a bit scary because of the amount of stuff you forget. But anyway, moving forwards, you might say, oh, blogging, that's been going for ages. Blogging was, internet 1.0. Why should I do that? Well, you could do tweeting, you could do podcasts, you could do YouTube videos. All these are good things. You could do blogs, you could do what kinds of things. You could do podcasts, yeah, whatever. But you can practice writing with blogging. And you might say, yeah, but ChatGPT and AI is going to take over all the writing roles and there'll be nothing left for us to say. That's rubbish. I was quite upset when I found out that ChatGPT was quite happy to tell me it could write in the style of Rob Miles. And it can, sort of, but it's a pastiche. And it's made of stuff it's found of mine lying around on the web and then fitted together into a style that matches lots of other people as well. So it's not human, and people in a few years' time are going to realise that, and they're going to want human writing back again, and that's where, if you're a good writer and a human, you might be in with a good chance. So you should blog. It's not old hat, it's just a thing you do. In terms of getting started, 3 things to do. 3 things, these 3 things you must do. Get a domain name. Give yourself a unique identity on the internet. It could be your name. It could be Purple Chicken. I don't really care. Pick a name that's memorable, that you can buy and own and have as your own. Then decide where to put it. Think about where you're going to host your blog. And finally, really important, and nothing at all to do with blogging or life or anything really. No, more about life than anything else. Start writing a daily diary or journal. This will be a really useful source of ideas, and you won't lose stuff. Having an idea is great. Feeling bad about not having done it is not helpful, but writing it in your diary and then having a list of things to go back to and turn your hand to if you get bored, that's wonderful. And just writing stuff down as part of a journaling process, it is a good way of kind of finalising it. If I do something stupid or something really bad happens, I'll tend to write it in the diary, and then it's a kind of closure. It's gone, it's history, it's written down, and we can sort of we can move away from that to something a little bit less, move forward onto the next thing. So it's a good way of actually organising and managing your sort of thoughts as you go through life. I wish I blogged and journaled 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50 years ago, because there's stuff I did I just can't remember doing. If you have a diary, you can look back and you can find out what that was, and that's incredibly valuable. And also, from the point of view of a blog, if you can't think of anything to write about, go through your diary and pull out some bits and pieces and use those as the basis of a post. That works as well. So, in turn, getting a domain. I got robmiles.com because I am very old. And I also got @RobMiles on Twitter too, which I don't use much because Twitter's now not the same as it was. But you should get one of your own. I use a firm called Namecheap.com, and they will do you a domain for about £13 or £14 a year. And that gives you a unique address on the internet which you own. And that's really important, because if you change from one provider of your blog hosting to another one, your readers will not know the difference, because your domain will just point to a new place now. It's really important that you do this, because also people take you more seriously if you have a domain. It sort of if you're hanging off a Facebook page or a blogger page, then that's fair enough. But if you have your own domain, that's much more sort of proper. And bottom bullet point, very important, much cheaper and less permanent than a tattoo, which is good to know. Hosting, you can host it where you like. I avoid closed platforms because you don't really enjoy have the content under your control quite so much, but you can promote things there. If someone hosts your content for free, you can expect the service that you've paid for, which is rubbish. If it goes away overnight, then they'll just go meh if you call them and say, why have I lost all my posts from my entire life? Or they just mine your content for stuff, and that's not good either. So I pay a firm called Squarespace, who do stuff. There are lots of other providers. One.com look nice as well. And so you can do paid hosting and just pay £12 a month or something to have it there. If you want to go for free, then okay. I like building my own site. I've done this too for my company sites and bits and pieces that I've done. I use GitHub for that. It's a bit harder to use because you have to build the pages yourself, but you can host the thing and you can link your own domain to that thing very easily. And so, github.com, blogger.com, take a look at those because they're actually worth bothering with too. And you should learn some Markdown. Now, Markdown is a formatting language used by lots of web tools. It's a bit like Java, JSON for text, maybe. It lets you give the layout information that you need, and it's very good with things like code samples and whatnot as well. And pretty much any blogging tool that you can get will understand Markdown format in one form or another. And so it's a great way to learn how to format stuff and lay things out real quick and real easy. And it isn't particularly device dependent, which is also rather nice. And there's a link there to a cheat sheet, which gives you a good start on this. And use tags. I like tags a lot. When you make a blog post, An excuse to show off my blog. There you go. This is my tag cloud. And if I go back to my blog itself, so go back to Rob Miles, these are all my things. If you want, this one's, it's in the Pico tag. So if I hit on there, now I'm going to find all my stuff about Raspberry Pi Pico. And so you can take one of my tags and then follow the way through. This is great for you finding stuff. One of my favorite processors, the ESP8266, and there's things in there as well. And so, you can basically, people who want to pull on a thread and then follow it through your blog can now do that because you've actually tagged everything, and I've moved on by mistake in the presentation. There I go. Back to where I was. Finding your voice. Voice is a very important thing, and learning how to write in a particular voice is something that is a really useful skill as well. We already do this in real life. You talk to your friends in a different way that you talk to your mum and family members and stuff. We have different voices for different things. Cultivate that in writing, so you can write. I can knock out blog posts in the style of Rob Miles. I can also write technical documentation and do other things as well in different styles. You work on your voice, you find it, and then off you go from there. You can turn stuff out quickly in a consistent way. In terms of how often to blog, I blog every day because I'm an idiot. But try and blog at least once a week. Otherwise you get this big guilt mountain of, I haven't posted for months. What on earth will they think of me? The answer quite frankly is nothing. And bear in mind, you don't owe your audience anything. If you want to blog every 6 months, but every post is a stormer, a really good one, then go that way. I go the other way. I have lots of posts, some of which are really appalling jokes. And you can search those on my site should you wish to do that. I mean, you don't owe them anything, and so you should never feel that you do. So people will email you and say, can you help me with blah? And you can go, well, if I feel like it, yeah, but if I don't, whatever, move on. And you do get trolled, you get people messing around. I don't blog anything controversial because I'm a coward. You get clicks with it, but it's not really worth the effort. You get spam and bots and whatnot, so you do a bit of gardening on there. You get these replies that say, that's an awesome post. Want to buy some crypto? No. And then off you go and you get rid of those and you just keep on going forwards. I never mention any of my family by name in my blog. I never post pictures of them. People that I meet up with, they get their first name referred to and then link through if appropriate. That's my policy. It's how I roll. And I've done that right from the very, very, very start. And I don't really post. I post all the Rob on a good day. If I'm not feeling too great, I won't post the fact I don't feel too great. And I never post how fed up I am with my job, life, family. I can't believe that people do post about my boss is an idiot and so on, my co-workers and whatnot. Oh, no, don't do that. That's a bad idea. And people find my blog by falling over it mainly. I've written a few books and bits and pieces, and sometimes people get to it from there, but it sort of chuggers around. It's amazing. If you post a really nice technical solution that people will fall over as well, you get quite a lot of traffic just on those things. If you explain how to do something which has caused you trouble, then you will find that other folk will find it in searches and they'll find your way to your blog, or maybe they'll like other things, and it's like a snowball down a hill. It kind of builds on that. If you want to promote it, you can put tweets out and Facebook posts. You can also go onto forums and things and respond to blog posts and whatnot and put your blog address in your signature, which is a good idea. And then you can get people going that way. But the thing is, you don't need a huge number of followers. How to get rich? Well, I haven't managed this. You can put ads on it if you like, but I regard it as a promotional tool that's fun to do. So I reckon it's good value. And the most important point to the bottom one, if only 6 people read your blog, but one of them offers you a good job, I reckon that's a win. That was worth it. So, you only need the one job and one person to give you that. So just keep pushing stuff out there and keep being good. I mean, I wouldn't be telling you this stuff if I didn't happen to know it works. It'd be great if more people did it. Great for them, that is. Because they would get like an inside track. If you do act on this, I've seen it change people's lives. I've seen students that suddenly find that, I've got people interested in me. When I go into an interview and they say, what have you done then, Mr. Miles? I go, well, I've done robmiles.com. What have you done? And then the conversation goes downhill rapidly from there. But what the heck, I had fun. Yeah, if you act on this and you do it properly, it will change your life. And if you're looking at things and saying, that's all very well, but I have nothing at all interesting to talk about, well, that's where the next video comes in, because that's all about making stuff. which starts with a look at how you, well, we've already seen one stupid thing, the camera, but, and you find this surprising, I know, I have others. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you, although of course I won't, in the next one.